Confidence intervals let us take a small slice of data and make smart, reliable predictions about a much bigger picture. Whether it's science, sports, or fashion trends, this concept helps us measure uncertainty and make decisions with confidence. Before we dive too far in, let's step back for an overview of the 4 stages of statistical analysis. First, we formulate questions. Then we collect or acquire data. Then we organize and represent data. And finally, we analyze data and communicate results, which involves using different techniques and statistical methods to explore the data, find patterns and relationships, and draw meaningful conclusions. Today's topic, confidence intervals, fits in right here to help us make and draw meaningful conclusions. So let's start right there with a focus on drawing meaningful conclusions. In particular, using data from sample surveys to make estimates about a population. One way to do that is just to calculate the mean of the sample data. So here, how many pairs of shoes, on average, do students at Golden Valley High School have? To find out, the school's ASB data manager randomly chose 12 students and created a table of the data. So here we have how many pairs of shoes 12 students said they had. So to calculate the mean number of pairs of shoes, we would just add up our data and divide by 12 because there's 12 students. So when we add all the data and divide by 12, we get 6.25. So this is the mean of the sample, and there's an abbreviation for that. It's X bar. So we can say X bar, the sample mean, equals 6.25. This mean we calculated from the data from the sample survey is only an estimate of the true mean, since we only asked 12 students. Statisticians have developed more sophisticated methods to make estimates that tell us more than just what we call a point estimate. Point estimates of a mean from a sample survey do not clarify how certain we are that they are giving a reasonably good estimate of the true mean in the whole population. We can make what is called a confidence interval to provide a more informative estimate. A confidence interval shows a range or interval where we think the true mean is and helps us understand how sure we are about our estimate. In other words, a confidence interval is a range of values that is likely to contain the true mean. The confidence level we use tells us how certain we are of our estimate. We usually use 99%, 95%, or 90%. So let's take a look at this one. Based on the shoe poll, the ASB data manager created a 99% confidence interval to estimate the true mean number of shoes Golden Valley students have. So here we have a confidence interval, and so the true mean number of shoes, we are 99% confident is somewhere between 4.6 and 7.9 pairs of shoes. Now the point estimate is in the middle of this interval, so if we needed to calculate that from an interval like this, we would add the two values on the endpoints of the interval and divide by 2. And when we do that, we get our 6.25 pairs of shoes. That's our point estimate. And it's in the middle of these two endpoints. Now, the margin of error tells us how much the estimate could vary from the true value. In other words, it shows the possible amount of error in the result. So to calculate the margin of error, we're going to take one of the endpoints of the interval and subtract the point estimate. So when we do that, in this case, we get 1.65. In this case, our confidence interval tells us that the true mean number of shoes is probably no more than 1.65 pairs of shoes away from our point estimate of 6.25. So it's not a super precise estimate, but just by asking 12 students, the data manager was able to get a rough idea about the average number of shoes Golden Valley students have. By the way, another way to write this interval is just to state the point estimate and the margin of error in one expression. So that would be like this. Our confidence interval is 6.25 plus or minus the margin of error. So this interval here, 4.6 to 7.9, is the same thing as this interval here, 6.25 plus or minus 1.65. Notice that when we write an interval notation like this, we're not talking about a point. We're talking about a range of values from 4.6 to 7.9. So now let's actually construct or make a confidence interval. And we're going to use the Desmos graphing calculator to do that. So a real estate agent is investigating the average size of one-bedroom apartments in Atlanta. A random sample of 33 apartments was selected and their square footage was recorded. The mean of the sample was 625 square feet, and the sample standard deviation was 100. Construct a 95% confidence interval for the true mean size of a one-bedroom apartment in Atlanta. We can use the Desmos.com graphing calculator to create a confidence interval for this situation. Once we've opened the graphing calculator, we hit the plus icon in the top left of the screen and choose Inference. Confidence intervals are one type of statistical inference, and we have quantitative data, so we need to choose one of these options. One technical note is that we should choose t-test if we are not given the standard deviation of the whole population, which realistically is usually the case. So we're going to use t-test because we were not told the standard deviation for the whole population. We do not have the actual data, so we will switch to the Stats tab. So the sample size in the question was 33 apartments. The mean from the sample was 625 square feet. And the standard deviation from the sample was 100. So we're going to create test. Now we want a confidence interval. And the question asks for a 95% confidence interval. So we're all set here. They already have 0.95 there, but I'll type it in again. So our confidence level is 0.95 because we want a 95% confidence interval. And here are the values for the endpoints of our confidence interval. So we are 95% confident that the true mean size of a one-bedroom apartment in Atlanta is between 589.5 square feet and 660.5 square feet. And by the way, if you need more decimal places, you can tap these three dots and it tells you more decimal places, as well as the point estimate in the middle and the standard error, which is related to but not equal to the margin of error. So don't use the standard error. So we're going to clarify that we got our confidence interval from Desmos, and we can write it in interval notation. So we are 95% confident that the true mean size of a one-bedroom apartment in Atlanta is between 589.5 and 660.5 square feet. Or we can write that with the point estimate and a margin of error. Halfway in between these two values is 625. plus or minus the margin of error. And to get the margin of error, we subtract one of the endpoints from our point estimate, which gives us 35.5. So 625 plus or minus 35.5. So two different ways of writing the same interval. I hope these examples about finding confidence intervals to estimate the mean of a population have been helpful. This is Mr. Ela signing off.